Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought that maybe I would get a little bit more personal and let you in on my personal experience with body confidence and feeling self-conscious about things. I don't know, I know I've mentioned it in the past when I've done like my empties video and other videos. I have psoriasis. Not only do I have psoriasis, but I also have what's called psoriatic arthritis. Psoriasis I've had all my life, and I guess it started around in my probably early 20s. It originally started in the back of my head, in my scalp area. And I was always self-conscious because I could never wear black or dark clothing because I always had dandruff that would be on my shoulders. And it was really hard because being young and being single and going out into the bars scene and everything else, it was always something that I always had to be aware of, and I always had to try and find something that I could wear that wasn't dark so I wouldn't have like a bunch of dandruff being on my shoulders. So I always had to wear white or light colored clothing. And I learned how to deal with that, and it got better through the years and got worse through the years, and I eventually went on and started on a medication called Humira, which totally cleared it up. But I remember going back in the years, I remember dating someone one time, and I had put my head down on his lap. We were on a train riding home, and I had put my head down on his lap. I was tired, and I always felt self-conscious if like anyone ever wanted to like play with my hair, because I knew that back there I had the psoriasis patches, and I knew that my scalp felt funny. To me, I knew it felt funny, but who knows, maybe to someone else it didn't feel funny. But I also knew that you could see it. And I remember one time being on the train, and when I put my head down, he started to play with my hair, and he said to me, "Why do you have such red patches on your scalp? It's all over the place." And I sat up and I kind of just fixed my hair, and I was like, it's psoriasis. And I just felt so embarrassed by that, because here's this guy that's really cute that I'm dating and, you know, in love with him, and he found out that I had that psoriasis on the back of my scalp, and it was just the most humiliating thing I dealt with. And I had to figure out how to fix it. Then another point later on in the years, probably like in my, well, I was married, so probably like in my 30s or so, I'd always gone to one hairdresser, and, you know, she knew about my scalp. And that was the other thing, going and getting my hair cut. You know, here I am sitting there, and they're going to cut my hair, and they're going to see how red my scalp is. And even though they're hairdressers, sometimes they don't know any different. And the girl that used to cut my hair knew exactly what it was, and, you know, I didn't feel embarrassed being taken care of by her. So my husband and I, we had bought a new house, and we had moved out east more, and one day I needed a haircut, and the place that I would usually go to wasn't open, and so I decided to go to a cheaper place to get my hair cut. It was like only maybe like $20 to get my hair cut versus paying $60. But I was like, you know what? If I can save the money and the haircut's the same, I'll just go there. So I go to the hair cutting place, and I have this young girl, and she's washing my hair, and she says to me, "Did you just recently dye your hair or something?" And I said, "No." And she's like, "Because you have red all on the back of your scalp and down by your neck." And I said, "That's called psoriasis. It's a skin condition." I said, "Mostly anybody that does hair kind of knows about it." She was like, "Oh, because it's really red." So needless to say, I never went back there again, because another situation of feeling humiliated. So the years went on, and I still had the psoriasis, and I dealt with it, and people I worked with would come over, and they would, you know, do one of these things to me, and, or my whole back would be full of it, and the flakes, and it was just very embarrassing. So I finally went to a dermatologist, and I tried so many things through the years also from another dermatologist. I had the shower cap, I had the tar shampoo, I had creams, I had sprays, you name it, I had it. And I was just so done with dealing with the psoriasis. Then, all of a sudden, I start developing these patches on my legs. didn't know what they were. I thought they were just whatever, dry skin. Then the patches start getting worse. So I finally go to a dermatologist and I show her what I have, and she asks me, did you recently have strep throat or a sore throat? And I said, yeah. And she goes, this is a form of psoriasis that comes out after you have sore throat. I'm going to have you use some creams. Okay, use the creams, whatever, didn't go away. Finally went to another dermatologist, and she said to me, well, it's psoriasis, and we can start you on some creams. And I said, no, I don't want any creams. So we decided to start with Humira, which are injections. Meanwhile, as those patches started to grow more and more on my body, I also started developing psoriatic arthritis. And with that, it developed in my feet. And for me, I work in the medical field, and I'm constantly walking all day long on my feet, and my feet started aching. So she said to me, you have psoriatic arthritis, and hopefully the Humira will work. So we started the Humira, and every week I'd have to give myself an injection of Humira. And then I also started methotrexate. So between the Humira and the methotrexate, my psoriasis disappeared. It just went back, my skin went back to normal, and my feet no longer hurt. It was a miracle. So I was on that for a while, probably a good 2 years or so. Then I ran out of it, and I went off of it, because usually they like you to go off of it for 3 months and then go back on if it starts to come back again. Well, things happened in between, and I ended up not getting back to my dermatologist. And over the past, I'd say probably year, the psoriasis started getting worse and worse. And I'll put pictures up too, so you can see what I mean by worse. Not only did it start developing on my scalp worse than it ever had been, it started developing on my arms, and I can actually show you some. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. Well, right now it seems to be pretty much controlled. I don't know really. There's some on my arm here, up here. Let's see about this arm. Same thing. It's actually pretty well controlled, and that reminds me I have to take my methotrexate tonight. And if I bounce around a lot, it's because this is I'm doing this on a whim. Like, I have nothing's written, nothing's planned. Anytime I ever do a video, I really don't have I don't write anything down. I don't have notes. I just kind of go with the flow. So if I jump around with this, it's because my mind is going a mile a minute, and I'm trying to remember different things, and at the end get to a point of why I'm talking about this. But anyway, so the psoriasis started getting worse and worse. It developed really bad on my arms. It developed really bad on my chest, on my stomach, and down my legs. And basically what I want to tell you about is that I'm still dealing with it now. And back in the summer, I had switched jobs. I lost my insurance, so I couldn't go back on my Humira. I started back up on my methotrexate, which is helping. My arthritis in my foot is really, really bad. I'm very limited to what I can do. Basically, I work all day. I'm on my foot, and as soon as I get home, I'm off my foot, and I'm in bed until the next day, and then so on. And when the weekend comes, I basically spend Saturday in bed all day, because I'm in tears from the pain. The happy part about it is that my insurance just kicked in with my new job, and I now can go back to my rheumatologist and get back on my Humira again. But that being said, over the past few months of this, dealing with all this skin issue that I have, it's made me feel so self-conscious and so uncomfortable. And through all of dealing with this, I also was going, and I am, but I'm not going through a separation from my husband. Right now, things are starting to get back on the better part of our relationship, and we're kind of working on things right now. But back when he wasn't in the picture, and I was basically single, the thought of having to deal with psoriasis the way that it is on my body, I felt so ugly and so disgusting, and so just, I didn't want anybody to take a look at me, whether I had clothes on or not. That's basically why I fell into this makeup part, because I felt makeup made me feel better and made me feel pretty. My psoriasis actually developed onto my face too, and I might have some pictures of that. I have to look around, but I'll put pictures up to show you what my body looks like underneath clothes. And when I'm at work, people at work know about it, and they all say, "Wow, you know, we would never know that you have that going on, because you have such confidence in you, and you hold your head high." And that's what I wanted to talk about, was that even though I deal with having the psoriasis under my skin, under my clothing, no one knows that little secret. No one knows what it looks like underneath there. And it's horrible. It's absolutely terrible to look at. But on the outside, I don't let anybody know that, because I try to keep my confidence up. I put my makeup on, I smile, and I don't let that, and it has in the past, but I've learned to not let that get me down. Because even with the skin disorder that I have, and even with the limp that I have right now with the psoriatic arthritis, I limp all over the place. You know what? I remind myself that I'm a good person, and I have